Mr. Oshoveli, it's a pleasure to have you. Please tell us about this new exciting movie.
Thank you. The movie is called Hairareb, and it tells a modern tale, but actually set generations back with like strong cultural heritage to it. The whole story is about, these two strangers who get into an arranged marriage for mutual benefits, right? And that each one of them is holding a secret against each other, which actually has devastating consequences. So they need to make it work, actually. They need to make this marriage work right in the middle of a drought and so many other obstacles that's surrounding them. So it's quite a challenge that these two people have to go through. Even though it's an old tale based on a popular novel, it has so much modernity with our own lives today. So this is what's brilliant. And having Namibia Film Commission on board for this film, as well as Ndapunikwa Investments, I mean, it's just, we can't wait. We really can't wait to start making this film.
As a director, what goes through your mind with the level of responsibility that comes to making a film like this?
All right. I mean, first and foremost, as a director, I have to be confident. All right. I have to assure everyone that everything is under control. Because as a director, your job is not only to direct and tell people how to act and what to do and all of these things, but you are also in a way a manager, for everything that goes on set. So, but the number one rule for me is that as a director, you don't have to do everything, but you have to know everything, right? Because if the sound guy comes to you, and he asks for advice, or the light guy or the stunt man or whoever it is, if they come up to you and they ask, so what do you think? You have to be the one to make that decision and that call right then and then, that either we need to redo it or it's good. Because the most important thing is making a film or directing a film is that if people hate the film, it's on me as a director. It's not the cameraman's fault. It's not, whoever's fault, because I have to direct every aspect of that. So what goes through my mind is that first things first, lay a foundation for the storyline. And that means have a structure and make people aware that they have to be involved with that structure. Emotionally, they have to be ready for it, and that you as a director have to be 3 steps ahead of everyone else, because you see the vision clearly. So you have to help everyone around them see that vision. So that's actually what's important. It's just how you do that.
The theme for this movie is called A Love Letter from Namibia. Could you tell us more about it?
A love letter from Namibia, where that came from is that, when me and my team, we were brainstorming on how we could conceptualize and package this whole film, we thought about to what extent is Namibia being put on the map, right? And then we looked at tourism, okay? And what we are projecting through the world, through tourism, is that you have a country so diverse with beautiful landscapes, flora and fauna, and we give away that essence of beauty, with our image. I would like to really tell a unique love story, a love story that's not been told before from an African context, from a world context. And this is the beauty of it, right? So this is the beauty that we want to share to the world, is, this love letter from Namibia and everything that unwraps from there is technically what I'm trying to achieve with this.
You are an award-winning film director. Are you hoping to win more awards with this film?
First I'm hoping to make a good film. All right, I'm hoping to make a good film first, because only when you get that right, it will then be testimony to the awards that you will win. So for me, it's my focus right now is not on the awards, because I haven't made the film yet, right? So my job now, my main focus now is to make sure that I make a good movie. So is it going to be enjoyed by people? Is it going to be loved by people?
In the film industry, who inspires you?
The ones that stand out the most, obviously I'll have to start at the top, and it'll have to be James Cameron. For someone who's done films in the late 80s, coming to the 90s and early 200s, he still carries through an immense amount of inspiration till now, for me, where I always look back at his films and I study them. So, here's a guy who's got 2 films who are right at the top of the all-time box office. So if that's not inspiration enough, then I don't know what is. Rodney Charles, we actually had a workshop with him, and the amount of wealth and wisdom that he brings about the film industry is just incredible. And here's a man who has starred in movies alongside Bruce Willis, how he got past all the obstacles to get to the level of where he is. For me, I found that quite incredible. So we would have, when we were doing the workshop, we would have conversations over the business of film making as a whole, and not just taking a camera and shooting, but knowing about how to pitch, for instance, how to get into film festivals around the world, and how to sell your film, how to distribute it, how it makes money. There's just so much that we engaged and spoke about, which I found quite interesting.
So the workshop was here in Namibia?
Yes, it was. It was here. I believe it was 2-3 months back, if I'm not correct. It was about 3 months back. Yeah, so that's him. And then Dan Mendel, he's a Hollywood cinematographer, and he is a guy who has shot films like Star Wars, Force Awakens, Mission Impossible 3, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and just to mention a few, in his incredible collection of portfolio. And when we met, we had a very nice conversation about what it takes to become big in the industry, not just in Hollywood but around the whole world. And I remember one thing he said was that just choose one thing and then focus on that one thing alone and intensify it as much as you can. And so that made me realize one thing, right? And that is that as a film director, you sort of have to know everything, but you don't have to do everything. Just focus on what you're good at and let everyone else shine in the areas that they want to shine. It's a much better workforce. You get better results that way, and the teamwork and effort that goes in, it's always just it comes with impeccable timing.